Luka Magnotta was not a serial killer. He only had one human victim. However, he seems to have had the makings of one, and if he had not been caught thanks to the amateur detective work of internet sleuths, he might have gone on to become one. His story began on the 25th of October 2010, when a video called "One Boy, Two Kittens" was posted on YouTube. It showed an unidentified man deliberately suffocating two kittens, using a sealed plastic bag and a vacuum cleaner. Then a video showing a kitten being eaten by a python was posted, followed by a video of a kitten duct taped to a broom handle being drowned in a bath. Animal rights organizations were outraged and offered a reward for information leading to the perpetrator's arrest. Later, they posted a YouTube video claiming that he was the Hollywood sign murderer in an attempt to flush him out. In January 2012, the head of 66-year-old Harvey Medellin had been found in a plastic bag near the Hollywood sign on the hills overlooking Los Angeles. Later, a right hand and a foot were found in a shallow grave nearby. After a search of the area, a left hand was also found. The day before Medellin's head was discovered, his boyfriend Gabriel Campos Martinez filed a missing persons report after the police visited the apartment the two men shared, following an anonymous tip that Medellin was missing. Campos Martinez initially said that Medellin had gone to Mexico. It transpired that when Medellin had wanted to break off the relationship, Campos Martinez had killed him. Medellin had died of asphyxiation on or about the 27th of December 2011. Shortly before the murder, a computer in the apartment the men shared had been used to access an article on dismembering human bodies. Butchering of the human carcass for human consumption. Campos Martinez was sentenced to 25 years to life. Internet investigators formed a Facebook group to look into the case of the YouTube cat killer. Deanna Thompson, a data analyst at a large casino in Las Vegas, took an interest. She noted that the one person in the group who was sticking meticulously to investigating the facts was a man named John Green. He took a forensic interest in the room where the kitten killing took place. It was small and cramped, approximately 8 feet by 10. You could see a door, a bed, and a table. Green realized that things like door handles and electric sockets were different in different countries, so there might be enough clues in the videos to track down the perpetrator. The bedspread had a wolf's head on it. He discovered that it was made by a company in North America. One had sold on eBay, but he couldn't see who the buyer was. It was shipped internationally, so that was no help. There were some voices in the background, so it seemed there was more than one person in the room. A Ukrainian member of the group realized that they were speaking Russian. Thompson then noticed that the talking suddenly stopped, like one of the people had left the room. Then she realized that there was a click. The voices were a recording of a Russian sitcom. She had spent 16 hours looking at various doorknobs from Lithuania, to no avail. A couple of pictures posted with the video showed the perpetrator playing with the kittens, but his face was pixelated. The kitten killer was fooling with them. Searching through the video frame by frame, Thompson spotted a pack of cigarettes. It had on it a warning from the U.S. Surgeon General, so the action probably took place in North America. She also saw the yellow vacuum cleaner used to suck the air out of the vacuum-sealed bag, killing the two kittens. She posted the picture to a vacuum cleaner forum that immediately identified it as a model only sold in North America, fitting the profile. A psychologist studying criminal profiling recognized that the perpetrator was getting excitement out of acts of cruelty on helpless animals. The group realized that when the excitement of cat killing wore off, the killer would go after other prey. Serial killers, including Ian Brady, Jeffrey Dahmer, Jim Jones, and Keith Jesperson, began by torturing and killing cats. The kitten killer was on their way to becoming a serial killer and had to be stopped. But the warning members of the Facebook group sent to the police went unheeded. They were dismissed as internet nerds. It was also clear that the kitten killer craved attention. Then it was found that Ayamet Kramsalat Inhisas had posted a video of a kitten being burned alive in a cage on his Facebook page. One of the investigators got the idea of simply asking whether he was the guy who had done the other kitten killings. He replied, "Yes, I kill kittens, LOL, and there's nothing you can do about it." They thought they had found the right person, but then found out that this was just an internet troll, a would-be copycat with mental problems. Then, out of nowhere, came the message that the person they were looking for was named Luka Magnotta. There were hundreds of pictures of him on the internet, from around the world with unbelievable stories attached. The guy was a long-lost cousin of River Phoenix. He was dating Madonna. They found an audition tape for a reality TV show about male models featuring Luka Magnotta, made 3 years earlier. It identified him as a Canadian. Green noticed that in the photos, the skin tone of the face did not match that of the body. Sometimes they did not line up properly. One post was about him getting married to a girl in Russia. A member of the group managed to find the original wedding photograph. He had been using Photoshop to add his face to it and other pictures. Man of many guises, Eric Newman, alias Luka Rocco Magnotta, was a model, stripper, and escort who appeared in gay porn videos. He had created many profiles on various internet social media sites and discussion forums over several years, and had come to public attention by denying that he was dating notorious murderer Karla Homolka, the wife of convicted serial killer Paul Bernardo. She was infamous in Canada. They were known as the Ken and Barbie killers after raping and murdering 3 14-year-old girls, one of whom was her sister. In a controversial plea bargain, Karla was convicted only of manslaughter and sentenced to just 12 years in exchange for testifying against her husband. A rumor that he was dating her had been planted by Magnotta himself. It was discovered later. Joe Warmington, a journalist with the Toronto Sun, got in touch with him. They met, and Warmington said Magnotta bore a striking resemblance to Bernardo. "My modeling career has gone downhill these days, to be honest with you," complained Magnotta, "and it's all because of this whole rumor of me dating Karla Homolka. The rumors destroyed my life, basically, and I want to set the record straight that me and her have absolutely no connection." Not only was the rumor costing him work, it was also a threat to his life, he said. His address had been posted online and he had had to move. He claimed he was about to have a nervous breakdown. The problem was that the interview with Warmington was 3 years before the first cat-killing video, so they were no closer to finding out where he was. They then looked through all the pictures he had posted, looking for EXIF, data metadata tags provided by digital cameras and smartphones that recorded the date, time, and GPS when the photograph was taken. One of the pictures showed Magnotta sitting on a chaise longue in a department store. The EXIF data said the photograph was taken in the Toronto Eaton Shopping Centre, On the 25th of October 2010, the day the first kitten-killing video was posted, Green was determined to discover Magnotta's address. In one picture on the internet, he was shown on a balcony on the 3rd or 4th floor. Behind him is an intersection with a Petro-Canada gas station on the corner. In a blog post, he complained about the paparazzi harassing him outside his condominium in Etobicoke, a suburb outside Toronto. There were 6 Petro-Canada gas stations there. Using Street View on Google Earth, Green quickly identified which one it was. Across the road from it was an apartment block 304 Mill Street. The police took some persuading, but eventually they went there. A Luka Magnotta had lived there, but the police were told that he had since moved to Russia. With the investigation stalled, the Facebook group dwindled from 15,000 to 8,000. Meanwhile, Alex West, a journalist for the Sun newspaper, tracked Magnotta to the Fusilier Inn, a cheap hotel in North London. He complained that he was getting death threats after being accused of killing kittens, a thing he denied doing. He had been framed, he said, and was the victim of a vendetta. Soon afterwards, West got an email saying, "It's so fun watching people work so hard gathering all the evidence and then not being able to name me or catch me. You see, I always win. I always hold the trump card, and I will continue to make more movies. Next time you hear from me, it will be in a movie I'm producing that will have some humans, not just pussies." Scotland Yard were informed, but did not have the jurisdiction to do anything about it, and Magnotta had by then disappeared. Scary threat. Next, an anonymous post with a link appeared. It said, "Hey Deanna, brace yourself. This is a little frightening, Deanna. I don't want you to worry too much, but go ahead and click this video." It showed the casino where Deanna Thompson worked. She was terrified that he was coming to kill her, but he wasn't. On the 25th of May 2012, a video called "One Lunatic, One Ice Pick" was posted. The title seems to have been inspired by Three Guys, One Hammer, a video made by 3 sadistic young men who murdered 21 people in and around Dnipropetrovsk in Ukraine, filming and posting footage of their crimes. One Lunatic, One Ice Pick showed a naked man tied to a bed, being repeatedly stabbed in a manner reminiscent of the opening scene of the film Basic Instinct. A poster of the film Casablanca is seen on the wall, so investigators concluded that the perpetrator was a movie buff. In the video, he goes on to dismember the body. Again, the police took no notice. "Well, we told them this would happen and they didn't believe us," said Green, "and now we're looking at a dead person." There was a puppy in the video, putting the internet detectives in mind of the kittens. In the background, the song "True Faith" by New Order is playing. Luka had used that song before in some of the picture montages that he had posted on YouTube. The song also appears on the opening sequence of the film American Psycho. Thompson and Green noticed a new picture of Luka in the video. He was in front of some steps. The trees were just coming into leaf, so it appeared to have been taken recently, as it was then only late spring. They noticed that the pedestrian lights did not look like those in Toronto, but much more like those in Montreal. Using Street View again, they found the steps were in McGill University in downtown Montreal. Green called the Montreal Police Department to no avail. Then, on the 29th of May, a blood-soaked box containing a human foot was delivered to the headquarters of the Conservative Party of Canada. With it was a poem that read, "Roses are red, violets are blue, police will need..." dental file to identify you, bitch. Another package containing a hand was intercepted in the mail addressed to the Liberal Party. Further body parts were sent to schools in Vancouver, while the head was dumped in a park. The torso was found by a janitor in a suitcase in an alley behind an apartment block at 5720 Descaries Street in Montreal. He had noticed maggots coming out of it. The arms, legs, and head were missing, and the trunk had been punctured many times. Also in the bag were a yellow t-shirt, a wine bottle, a crumpled poster for the film Casablanca, the body of a puppy, a driver's license from Ontario, and a receipt from a pharmacy. The last two items with the name Luka Rocco Magnotta on them. The address on the receipt was apartment 208, 5720 Descaries Street. Scene of the crime. There was no one in the apartment, but there was the smell of chemicals. It had recently been cleaned. Checking the security cameras, the police found footage of a young man in his 20s, wearing a yellow t-shirt and making repeated trips out to the garbage early on the morning of the 25th of May. In the garbage, the police found a knife, a screwdriver that had been modified to look like an ice pick, some skin and arms and legs, but no hands or feet. On CCTV, the police also saw the victim, a 33-year-old Chinese student named Jun Lin, entering the building with Magnotta. Jun Lin's name was already on a missing persons report after an ex-boyfriend had grown concerned about his disappearance. DNA taken from a toothbrush found in his apartment matched the body. Magnotta seems to have picked him up on the website Craigslist. Later, Magnotta was seen on CCTV leaving the building in the yellow shirt Jun Lin had been wearing on the way in. The sedative oxazepam was found in Jun Lin's blood and in the wine bottle. Although Magnotta returned with rubber gloves and cleaning products, blood was found in his apartment using luminol, a chemical that glows blue on contact with an oxidizing agent such as blood. In the walk-in closet was written, "If you don't like the reflection, don't look in the mirror. I don't care." But still no one knew where Magnotta was. The Montreal police called Green, who told them his guess was Paris. He figured that Luka had been planting movie clues in the videos. The film Casablanca ends with the lines, "If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life." But what about us? We'll always have Paris. They contacted Montreal Airport to discover that Magnotta had bought a ticket to Paris. At Charles de Gaulle Airport, he was seen on CCTV catching a cab. The taxi driver said he had dropped his passenger at the Novotel. Magnotta had a reservation there but had not stayed. He had disappeared again. Luka was a fan of the movie Catch Me If You Can, where the protagonist repeatedly eludes the FBI. On the 1st of June 2009, he had posted the blog Luka Magnotta, How to Disappear and Never Be Found. It spelt out how to evade law enforcement. The French police discovered that he had made a withdrawal from an ATM on the Place de Clichy, an area where he might find a fresh victim, so they continued searching for Magnotta in Paris. They found a rundown hotel where he had left the Mickey Mouse t-shirt he was wearing when he arrived at Charles de Gaulle. But it was soon found that he had already taken a bus to Berlin, where he was captured in an internet cafe reading material about himself online. Flown back to Canada, Magnotta claimed that he had been forced to kill Jun Lin and the kittens by Emmanuel Manny Lopez, an escort client. Indeed, a third hand is seen in one of the kitten videos. However, there is no other evidence that Manny existed, and it seems to have been a veiled reference to the film Basic Instinct. In the movie, Sharon Stone plays the ice-pick-wielding Catherine Trammell, whose ex-boyfriend is said to have been Manny Vasquez. One of the numerous aliases Magnotta used was K. Trammell. Magnotta pleaded not guilty of murder on the grounds of diminished responsibility. He was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment, only eligible for parole after 25 years. He was also a suspect in another series of gay village homicides in Toronto, but the investigation was abandoned for lack of evidence. Besides, Magnotta was already in jail. He later married another inmate who he met online. His story is told in the Netflix series Don't F***K with Cats.